Hi Pragya, welcome to the 21 by 72 Startup Summit organized by Ivy Growth. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Shubhangi. It's a pleasure for me too.
So, can you tell us a little bit about Evify and what your startup is and what problem is it solving in the society?
So I'll just start with the idea how we came up for Evify. So like other lockdown babies, this too is our lockdown baby. So we had set up a company called Renon just before lockdown, 6 months back. That company is into manufacturing of batteries, the batteries that are used in electric vehicles and also for solar storage solutions. So that is the point when we thought that manufacturing of electric vehicles is also very easy, and when we are making the batteries, that is the soul of the vehicle, we can also come up with a manufacturing line. But then eventually when we were working on the idea, we just realized we are already into manufacturing units. We have multiple businesses. So let's this time enter into a service sector apart from what we are already doing. And that is when it happened that a friend of ours, Dev Rishi, who is a founder and co-founder with me in Evify, he has been into logistics, I think, from his grandfather's age, for more than 60 years now. So we are friends for like 10-15 years. So it happened that obviously during lockdowns, we just meet for closed friends, and he was there on a meeting when we just discussed our idea that we are we're thinking about coming up with the EV logistics thing. And he was like, he had some similar plans where he was starting on the logistics brand, and he already was doing Big Daddy logistics. So that is where we started working on this idea, and eventually we realized that because we have been into sustainable industry since like 10 years now, so we wanted to continue that, have another company in our portfolio which was similar to what we are doing, green industry basically. So we decided we'll use electric vehicles and have our fleet. So Evify basically is the idea where we are providing fleet. We are managing the logistics services, logistics department for all the e-commerce giants and food delivery services when it comes to Swiggy, when it comes to Zomato, and all the delivery companies like Ecom Express, Buy Express, or Shadowfax, Flipkart. So these are our potential clients. And that is where around September we just started our talks with Big Basket. Around October we just closed a contract with them, and initially we just had Big Basket in our kitty, but things went very smooth with them. Then we got Swiggy, and once we got Swiggy, we were quite confident that now yes, because we come from a city, acceptability for any new idea is difficult unless and until you don't prove yourselves. So we had to prove Big Basket that yes, electric vehicles are possible to make your deliveries, because the range, the performance, everything is new for them. So acceptability becomes a question. So we had to prove ourselves to Big Basket that yes, these vehicles can do those deliveries, the number of deliveries that you're expecting that happens on the petrol vehicles. The similar can be done on electric vehicles as well. And those guys are saving. So why would they like to shift? There has to be a very major factor apart from just the environment. You just can't convince me it is green, so let's shift.
Right.
So those guys could see the difference, the savings that they are doing in comparison to what they are paying to the petrol vehicles. So there is around 30 to 40% of savings for them. So this made them realize yes, they can make this shift. And with Swiggy, things have been very smooth as well. Those guys have been very supportive. We started with just a fleet of 20 vehicles with them, but it was a pilot project for 3 months. But those guys have been very nice, and they could also see the difference when it comes to the performance, the average that what they are getting, and finally the savings. So now again we are increasing our fleet with Swiggy. They have given us Instamart as well. That's the grocery delivery section of Swiggy. And with Big Basket we are doing BB now. That's again 30 minutes delivery of what Big Basket does. And now we have closed our contracts with Ecom Express, and we are in talks with Flipkart with the deals. Things would just complete in this 1 month.
So basically, one follows the other.
Definitely. So you need something. You need a company to prove the other company that yes, we are doing work with them. So you have a testimonial in hand,
Right.
and then things multiply very quickly.
Yeah.
So once we had Swiggy, we had our PR that we have come up with Swiggy. We had a tremendous growth. So we had Reliance Smart approaching us directly. Please come in Mumbai. Please come. So if today we decide we are going to any metro city, we have lots of opportunities open. But that is a strategic decision we have done, that this is not the right time that we expand to cities.
I was actually just going to ask you about this.
So
I know that your startup is Surat-based. So, it becomes a little bit difficult for most startups to, grow from a second tier city. Even if it's a smart city, it becomes a little difficult because you have a lot of other players in the metropolitans who've really, really conquered the market. So, do you feel like, you're losing out on some potential market being in Surat?
So, I would say we're not losing out. We have an edge over here, because those big players would not be interested to come in the tier 2 city. And now, because we belong to this city, so we don't have that operational cost to incur in the initial months when we are setting ourselves up. So when it comes to setting our team, developing our tech, everything, these all things are going hand by hand. And by that same time, we are entering into contracts with all these companies and doing the pilot projects in this city. So right now, the operational cost that we have to incur is much less than what we had to incur if we were in a tier 1 city.
Right.
And expansion is something you can do only when your background is ready. So when your SOPs are done, your tech is ready, your team is ready, you do nothing, you can just multiply. Right? So we have expansions in our plans, but we are just waiting for a couple of months till everything is in our hand. We are completely ready, and then that is the time when our companies, our clients who already have seen our work, they just multiply into the cities that we want. So the target cities which our clients are asking us right now is like Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and even Bangalore. So that would be again a very strategic planning where we are going. What we have planned is we would be doing it phase wise. So the first phase comes when we are expanding in the 100-kilometer radius of Surat itself, because again we'll have a foothold over here, and then to cities nearby, be it Ahmedabad, Baroda. So we want to just be a king in this whole region first, and then multiply to some other region. If you see our competitor Zip Electric, it's been almost like years now, still they have their foothold in Gurgaon, and then they expanded to the nearby places. Because if you just see Surat itself, you have minimum, if I'm not counting the smaller players, still there are 10 to 12 big companies. So entering into them and having even 50 vehicles per company. So we have 500 vehicles. That is a very small number, I'm telling. If I tell you about Swiggy, they have 1,000 to 1,500 full-time riders in just Swiggy. You go for Zomato, you see Baba Express, Express Bees, and there are so many. So we can have maybe 10,000 fleet as well in Surat itself. The demand is huge. So we have a very untapped market here. There is no one else who is doing this over here. So that is our plan. First, we are being confident. We are setting ourselves over here, and then we're expanding.
So how has your experience been at this Startup Summit 21/72? It got hosted in Surat to make, a mark on the world map that Surat has arrived. So how has your experience been being a part of Surat and then now being a part of the startup ecosystem being built in Surat?
So I would say you have used a very proper phrase. You guys have made a mark on this, on the world, on the India map as such, that Surat does exist, one. And there are a lot of startups that are blooming from Surat. And even the investors now, because you have managed getting investors and startups from all over India, and actually investors from the world as well. So this actually gives a confidence to the companies that you actually can start from Surat. You don't have to shift your base to any metro city and then you have to go to a corporate and say, please fund me. Having yourself in Surat, setting up yourself in Surat and still asking for funds and still seeing that we are a company who have this $1 million valuation, that makes sense because now people know that ideas can actually bloom from any city.
Yeah.
So kudos to your event. We yesterday we have met a number of people and it was a wonderful day. So having these kind of people, I was actually attending a pitch upstairs. The guy was from Mumbai. So Mumbai has come to Surat and it's not Surat going to Mumbai.
Yeah.
The difference that you have created is commendable. And that actually, being a part of Surat, it makes me proud as well. Ki now at least people visualize, okay, Surat is also not like a tier 3 city or a tier 2 city. We are actually at least coming up with a point that it is a very developed city.
Yeah.
So thanks to you guys. You've done a wonderful job.